Grammy, Grammy. She's our. I would say she's probably everybody's little getaway and our person to run to. You know, when we need that comfort.
So, because it means a lot to you, when I found out about your dad, I just prayed every day for you. Um, that relationship between your mom and your dad before the divorce, during the divorce, how did that shape you?
My mom and dad got divorced. I was probably about 10, probably about 10 years old, 10, 11 years old. And you know what? And at first, I could honestly say for the first maybe 1 or 2 years, it was a little rough between them. You know, the fighting and you know this stuff belongs to me and this stuff belongs to me and you know what I mean. And but honestly, I could say that as the years went on and as I got older, they actually became a lot better friends apart than they were together, and even to the point where, because you know, my dad was married 4 times.
I would say
You
probably
know,
more too long.
yeah, about 4 times, and you know, and my dad's last wife.
That's what I want.
My mom was like her best friend. You know what I mean? I don't want to say that they talked every day, but you know, my mom liked her a lot. You know, so when it comes to is the way it shaped me, I had to learn a lot of both. I would say both worlds. You know, it was either mom's time or dad's time. You know, and don't get me wrong, as a child, going through something like that, you know, it's
The anger.
the confusion. One parent is saying one thing about the other parent saying one thing about the other, and for someone that's going through that at 10, 11 years old, you know, it's hard to understand.
Does that make you want to be a better husband?
Oh yeah,
But
definitely.
better-
You know what I mean. I don't want to say that what I went through was like the most worst thing in the world because it wasn't.
Well,
you
it's
know?
your experience.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's how you take it.
yeah, I've never been through that, so your worst experience could be not bad.
Oh yeah.
To me.
So I wouldn't say that was. I don't want to say that was a really bad experience, but it was a learning experience to understand, you know, what could happen as an adult, as what happens when you become an adult. But it was something that you had to either adjust to quick or you know you fall
Yeah, it's those little
for the
life.
dangers of it. Yeah.
I gotta ask this. What's your favorite grandparents' moment? There's one for everybody. You could have done something horrible and they had to correct you. And you didn't, it could be anything funny.
You know, and I would, you know, when it comes to my grandmother, you know, Mona, the greatest thing I'll ever remember about her is that growing up, from
Yes, I did.
the time that I could walk till my last game of high school, is that she never missed one game, ever.
Oh wow.
You know, and I'll always remember that. My grandfather Ted, the biggest thing that I could always cherish about him and remember him is that he loves music. His passion for music, the guitar, the harmonica. You know,
Is that where you got it from?
Yes, I recently picked up guitar, and you know, and a lot of it is self-taught and taught by him, and you know, I've become pretty good at it. You know, and I'll always remember that. That's always one thing that I will always hold close to my heart when it comes to the parents of my father, is I would say the closeness that we had during parties, during Christmas, during holidays, and you know, I still remember I spent a lot of my childhood there while my parents were together. You know, they would leave us at my grandparents' house, and the fun we used to have. You know, the way she would cook. You know, the things they would spoil us. They would spoil me and my cousin David. You know, with gifts and presents and. You know, I think just like the love they had for us. You
You
know,
feel it.
it was a different type of feeling because they were more, you know, I would say like more Mexicanized than you know this side of the family. So just like the comfort level you got from them while you were there, and you know those those memories I'll never forget. You know.
So,
Just cut it.
because you've gone through a lot. You're young,
Get that big piece
but
across.
you're way different now than you were when you were younger.
Of course it has a centerpiece.
At what point did you snap out of whatever you would call your funk? At what age do you think you went, oh crap, I'm sorry, Mom. I'm different now. I'm sorry. I should have been better. At what age did that happen?
You know, one of the biggest traumatic experiences of my life was, you know, the summer between my junior and senior year would have been 2009 to 2010, of when my father got into his accident. You know, a lot of it, I started seeing things a lot different now. You know, as a teenager, I was 17 at the time, and I was still learning and growing up and developing myself, you know. And to have one of your, you know, parents taken away from you like that, you know, it's
hard.
You were able to cherish life more, your family more, your mom, your dad, your grandparents, your cousins,
What was the time it took? Because you can't ever get over it.
You got a brain freeze?
But how long did it take for you to be almost content to move forward, which you would consider almost normally?
I would say even during the time, because my father got into his accident June 15th of 2009, if I have the date correct. It was June 15th of 2009. He was in the hospital for 2.5 months. I was there every day. That was my summer between my junior and senior year. That was my summer, so definitely not at that point. He did go home. My Aunt Liz, she took care of him for 6 years, every day of his life.
Wow.
Bathed him, washed him, fed him, cleaned him, groomed him, you know, moved him from bed to chair, you know, and if it wasn't for her, I don't know what our family would have done. And still not even at that point, I was ready to
that's great.
I wasn't ready to accept it yet, you know, because when I would go over, he would have to be moved on a crane, you know, just stuff that's not normal.
He doesn't like chocolate.
He went into the hospital right before he passed away. He passed away January 12th of 2015. A couple of days after, about a week after his birthday.
It's not gonna taste.
But he went into the hospital New Year's Eve. And I remember when we went, previously before that, he was diagnosed with leukemia. You know, and he was in a vegetable state, you know. He wouldn't talk, he wouldn't move.
So they had to make the tough choice.
So it was either just write it out, because there was no way his body, the way he would survive chemo. So, just as I was maybe even, I would want to say even wanting to feel comfortable about his living situation and accept it, there was another hit. So, he passed away January 12th, 2015, and his body wasn't just able to handle it anymore. And I would say, probably about until last year, until the 16th, when I went to his grave for Father's Day. When he was fine, it was the Father's Day after he had passed away, and I would say at that point I was just like, you know what, it was a long ride. And
It was a long, hard ride.
Long hard ride, you know, and I think that's at that point where I accepted it, where I had finally accepted it.
Was there comfort in knowing that maybe, you know, he's gonna walk in heaven? Because he was in the bed here. There's like they're keeping him alive, but really there's this, and it sounds weird, but there's this thought of heaven is home. Like, there's a song by No Mercy called "I'm Here, but I'm dreaming of home, heaven." And was there any kind of weird feeling that, are we doing the right thing?
Oh yeah,
Because he wants to go home. I bet you he wants to go see the face of Jesus and walk and be the man he was in heaven with his new body. And now this happens.
But then give that shake to Grandpa.
Oh yeah, definitely. You know what I mean? I could honestly say there was a big controversy that first week at the hospital when he got into his accident, because we were confirmed by about 3 or 4 neurological doctors that he already had lost 92% of his brain, which he would never ever, get back again. And of course I was his next of kin because my brother was maybe about 12 at the time, so I was his next of kin, and that's how I know for sure I was 17 because since I wasn't 18 yet, I wasn't able to make decisions for him. I was his next of kin, but I wasn't a decision maker. So it laid down on my family, on his side of the family, where I myself, after seeing medical facts, scientific facts, you know, I knew he was
You're
going
not
to
gonna
get
go to
saved.
sleep.
Neither did my mother. Neither
I
did
know
my
your
side of the
mother.
family,
So listen,
and
go get a
we
plate
didn't. We didn't want to keep him like that.
Work for yourself.
But you know,
No me estés llorando que
ultimately,
no puedes dormir,
his side of the family had that decision, and it killed me.
Oh yes.
I think
it
that's
does.
what probably killed me, and
Okay.
why when you asked me earlier when did I finally accept it, is that, but that's probably why, honestly, why I never accepted it, you know. But hey, you know, it is what it is. Everything works, and God works in mysterious ways, and He works in different ways, and
How big, Julissa?
it came down to that point where
Like this?
you just said right now,
Which way?
shouldn't we have let him go home? And
Yeah,
trust
that's a
me, I
hard
was thought
one.
about it.
That is a hard one because you think, were they better off? Or did they
yeah.
do the right thing? And
I'm not no Nino.
cousin Matthew and I did this meditation prayer thing,
Dame.
and everyone stands in there and they have their own like ideas.
I'm gonna get over
I
it.
think God's playing a game of Sims and we're just
No,
little tools, or we're a universe and everything happens for a reason, and everyone's trying to find a reason for being.
Yeah.
And you find out we're all lost in this
It's
deep
gross.
universe world, and the only thing we have is Jesus.
Oh, with the soda.
And no one understands what Jesus really is, but we have an idea of what Jesus is because the book says. We know how we feel. And when you think about religion and God and Jesus Christ and your experiences,
Who made it?
where do you fall on like what to believe and what is?
Just
know
to
what?
get to the elevator.
I think a lot of stuff that, you know, I don't think I've ever really told anybody, but like a lot of the stuff that when it comes to religion, I don't think a lot of my family would probably agree with the way I think, but I do believe.
I just want number.
First of all, I'm Catholic. I do believe there's a God, you know, and praying to Him is very good, and you know, asking Him for forgiveness and help and stuff like that. But I think a lot of the stuff, I would say, the success, the failures that we experience, you know, it derives from ourselves. You know, I have a very different thinking of when it comes to that. I'm not saying I don't believe in God, but you know, if I become successful, if I have a good job, if I finish school, if I make good money, it's because I did it. You know what I mean? I did it. You know what I mean? Maybe He was there to help me, but He didn't do it for me.
See,
He I would say He more guided me than did it for me. But we have to give ourselves some self-worth. Like, we have to give ourselves praise. You know, like me finding, you know, being a corrections officer and actually getting a good job and working with the city.
that's right.
I'm not gonna say, oh, God gave me that job. You know, He guided me, but I did it. I interviewed. I busted my ass. You know what I mean?
I think we might agree on this, that
Against
God
Glenn's team, mother.
might have predetermined
Glenn's
things
team.
for us,
Exactly.
but we have to take the free will to pick up the note He dropped on the
Who's
floor.
Glenn?
Exactly. You know, and it's really calming that somebody understands what I'm talking about, because when I tell people this, or you know, the two people that I've ever told about this, they're like, no, it's God, He's the one that does it for you, and I'm like, oh, okay, so
He
God
might help you
sat,
get the job, but you have to sign the paper
yeah,
and
you
want
know
to
what I
do
mean?
it.
I'm like, so God sat in the interview and you know talked for you, you know what I mean? But you know, but he guided me, He helped me do it, but you know, I took the step. You know, he laid the foundation, but I took the step.
Huh?
So when it comes to religious stuff like that, you know, even more tying it to like my father and like asking for a miracle, I don't know. I don't even know where to stand on that. You know, saying like one day God's just gonna come down and give His brain back.
100,
You know?
100 years, people have said the same prayers for everything.
Yes.
Oh, Granny Bloom.
You know, the story of Lazarus.
Oh,
They're like, you're late. Oh, I'm never late. Where is he?
yeah.
There he is. Don't doubt me again.
Exactly. And that's what it came down to. Like, you know, a doctor gave me scientific evidence and medical evidence and painting a picture in our faces. It's not gonna happen. But there was that 8% chance that God was gonna come do a miracle, and I don't want to say that He didn't do it because my father passed away. I don't want to say that He failed us or nothing like that. But it's just, hey, it is what it is. When it comes to that point.
Because that's one thing that people have changed now. There's a humanist, there's an atheist, there's a Satanist, there's an atheist somewhere, I bet, somewhere.
Yeah.
And everyone gets offended way too easy now. And because these people are going to watch us like, I don't know, like maybe 20 years from now. We don't know what the world's going to look like.
Yeah.
But recently we had the scandals of women being abused by these people. How does that make you feel as a man? Of how to deal with women? Does it make you not want to have hugs, this fist pump? Does it make you have fear of even anything can go off so you keep your distance? How are you reacting to this new and weird situation?
Another thing that a lot of people probably don't know about me is that one of my minors is women's studies, and a lot of the women's studies classes that I took was revolved around women becoming more involved in law enforcement jobs, which is something I've always wanted to, obtain. And, finally being in law enforcement and being a corrections officer, I work with female corrections officers that have the authority and have the power and, have the assertiveness, and it's different. It's different, and I see it in a totally different perspective now. You know what I mean? Whereas back in the old days, women were domestic houseworkers. They stayed home, they cooked, they cleaned, and they cared for the children. The man worked. Now, in the field that I'm in, I see a lot of the roles switched. I see a lot of the females being a lot more stronger than the men at sometimes. Whereas a typical female occupation, a nurse, we also have a boot camp where I work, and these women are tough. These women are drill sergeants, and they'll cut your face.
It's great because it takes pressure off too.
Oh yeah, it does.
It takes the pressure off men, because we were told for the longest time, you're the man, you're supposed to do everything, and when we were told you're supposed to be submissive for the longest time, and the evolution happened, and now I think there's more of a balance. And I like that more so than the other.
I could see the balance. I could see how it's balancing out, but there are still, I would say, there's still what I consider like Old Testament males that get challenged by that.
They're older, and I think the older generation. I don't want anyone to die, but as they suddenly die off, it's gonna be us.
Yes.
And we're gonna have a society of, they might call more gentlemen. Like, men are men, gentlemen. Like, you can stereotype all you want, but the world is a better place for it.
Oh yeah.
But there was a place for them.
No.
And and the president has that kind of way of thinking, and you have politicians in the Senate and the Democrat elders that think the same way.
Yeah.
And I think we're gonna edge them out with our votes. We're gonna put a new generation of politician in.
I would say that this new generation, I would even consider myself being like this new generation. We're getting. I think we managed to make our decisions. We're able to make our decisions for ourselves. We're seeing all the things that's going on, and like I myself, without of course, with our influence of politicians and religion and our president and stuff like that, but we're able to see it. Our eyes are opening up more and saying, "Hey, you know what? Times are changing."
We're seeing these weird little movements.
Yes.
That we're more accepting of things we never thought were possible.
Yes.
No.
And that men are actually
How do you know it's not for me?
concerned about their health more than usual. And I told someone that, they're like, no, you're judgmental. They're like, no. I think men are generally eating healthier and going to the gym more. The memberships are up.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
And people they care about their health for the first time in a long time. And we see this when fast food restaurants and TGI Fridays, they're going down. And they're blaming the millennials. They're like, instead of blaming us, why don't you make a healthier menu? And now we have this thing going on again.
And I think a lot of it has to do with it is that finally now people are getting educated. They're getting educated and stuff as health-wise. You know what I mean? So you go to, you know, I like for an example, a lot of the times when myself and my girlfriend we go to Applebee's, she gets a salad. You know, like we
It's
come to a
$4.
restaurant,
It's good.
you're gonna get a salad, and it's just it's just that mindset that they already know. Well, I'm gonna finally. I don't know what triggered in everybody's heads or what sparked it, but like you pointed out, we got that clash now because now we're realizing the truth about.
Eat cake in McDonald's, man.
Yeah.
That's the way it's always been. Like you're like, sorry, things are changing. You adapt. You're the corporation. We're not supposed to fund you. You're there for a
Yeah.
service. I can make a garden and make my own food.
And I think a lot of the new generations, I guess what they consider like the hipster, like the new hipster, they're going to like these health spots and the all natural shakes and dietary supplements and stuff like that, and you're gonna see you see a lot of those things popping up, you know.
Honestly, I think we're gonna see people living longer now.
Oh yeah.
People are dying. We're dying too young, and I think we're gonna be the generation that dies older. Because there was a generation of I ate everything wrong. People did a lot of drugs in the 70s. It's going to catch up to them. Now we're more drug free. People they drink a lot of alcohol, but they're drinking the alcohol. It's not going to kill them
Yeah.
radically. I think we're going to see the longest living generation from like maybe this point on. So we can't prove it. But if someone's watching this 45 years from now, like
They're gonna see it, and like
Let
I
us
said,
know.
I can't say what started it or what sparked it or what caused that chain reaction, but you know it's nice to see at least. It's at least nice to see, and I think a lot of it has to do with you know our status a lot with like social media now and how we present ourselves because you know there's no hiding anymore.
I can't hide.
You can't hide anywhere anymore.
Just be a good person.
Exactly. Be a
Yeah.
good person and be a good looking person and be a healthy person. And I think a lot of it had to do with that.
And I think
Yeah.
people do care about looks, but you're getting a lot less of it.
Yes.
And now they're going for personality and are you a good person? Can I trust you? Versus, and I think that this whole women exposing men really has helped. Because a lot of these men that are being exposed are good looking dudes, charisma filled.
Celebrities.
So now women are harder to date. They're harder to. You're lucky because you have a good girlfriend. But for other guys like me, it's harder to get someone in.
And I think because it's a lot of the stuff that our society's experiencing and changes right now has that negative effect. Because right away, you know, I could honestly say in today's days, you know what I mean? It's everybody, like all the females are like, they see a guy and it's like negative.
You're all bad.
Right away.
And that's what we
Right away.
That's where we have to fight. Is we have to show that men are one by one judged differently. We're not Kevin Spacey. We're not Weinstein.
Yeah.
And you be nice to us. At least find out about us before you totally diss us because the paranoia. And we see paranoia in the media now more than ever. And everything.
I know I've thought about it a couple of times, but do you see that our masculinity and femininity roles are changing?
I think it's in the middle.
You think so?
I think women are more hardcore. If you,
Oh yeah, I could agree with that.
I would say your mom was ahead of the curve. Your mom is tough and strong, yet she's feminine and soft. And men are now kind of going that way.
Like how many men I could count a lot of my friends that the man he stays home with the kid and the woman goes to work now. That's
It's interesting.
it is interesting.
Some
to
say
think
it's
about.
progress, some say it's poison. I think it's whatever happiness is to you. If you say, I don't eat squash because it doesn't make me happy, like then I'm happy you don't eat squash if it makes you happy. Because whatever's happiness is, that's good for you.
Definitely, no, and I agree with that. And like I said, it's weird to see stuff changing, especially like myself growing up in this household where, you know, my grandfather's stories, and even you affirmed that, you know, patriarch and the man, and, you know, the leader of the household, and that's not like that anymore, you know what I
You
mean?
see the patriarch, but then you think, well, what's the ranks?
Exactly.
If grandma and grandpa are the patriarchs, then mom is what, and then what am I?
And even in this day, like even in today, how, if there even is a mom and dad in a home, and if there even is rankings, or is the mom the leader, you know? And
I think it's hard because sometimes you can have married couples,
yeah,
and sometimes the guy's a piece of nothing, and the mom's everything, or it's vice versa. And you're like, well, who was the leader? Who should I follow? And we lost our I think there's a lot of morality lost these days.
oh yeah, definitely.
And just have good morals and be like, what's a good moral? Now it's
I
that's up
think-
to debate.
I think a lot of men and women now that are, you know, getting married or that live together forget, you know, what their purpose is and what they're supposed to do and why they're doing it. They're just doing it just to do it because they think it's cool, or, you know, because, you know, they don't like where they're living at. But you know, that's a big dilemma. I wouldn't want to say a dilemma, but something that myself and my girlfriend think a lot about a lot of times, because we're both 25 years old. She just recently got a good job. I got a good job, and the thoughts of already, you know, getting married and you know, well, first of all, getting engaged, getting married, and buying a house, like that's coming out. But I think we talk a lot about why are we doing it? Are we doing it just because she doesn't want to be at home anymore, or that because I don't want to be at home anymore, or are we doing it because it's time to start our lives? You know, and we get a lot of that clash. Like, okay, are we gonna just go and do it, but is it gonna work? I'm scared. I'm scared.
That's a good feeling, though. That's a good. It's good that you're scared because
Yeah.
that makes you better. The unanswered question is what drives you to be a better person. But if you got all the answers, you wouldn't thrive for greatness.
You know, that's a good thing, because I spoke to her a lot about that, because, you know, she's already made the move. She's moved out with her friends a couple of times and moved back home. So to her, it's really easy. You know, but for me, from someone that came from, you know, a family like you just said, you learned about my grandfather and how he kept the family together and stuff like that. I was the offspring of that family.
Yeah.
So for me to just leave the nest, it's hard. But I know it's time though.
It's difficult.
It is difficult.
And it's scary, but I think when you find the right person, you hang on to them, especially in this world we're living in. And it's the president has awakened things, and I won't get political. I'm just thinking the positive part of it is that there's an evolution because of him. We're seeing positive movements that never would have been if he didn't say something. And you see this group pop up, and this Democrat wins in Alabama. That Democrat doesn't win Alabama if Trump is not president. And there's no doubt about that. So we're seeing these movements.
And when it comes to stuff like that, it ties down to actions speak louder than words, you know? So when it comes to myself, you, my family, my mom, my dad, my grandparents, we're only going to be as good as the person we are is if we show who we are. You know, and I very strongly believe that. I could sit here in front of this camera and talk about me, left and right, and how good of a person I am, but
It's about people.
yeah, and if I don't show it, what good of a person I am?
We're very young.
Yeah.
So we don't have a big history to talk about. So we talk more about the movement or what's happening now, which is really great for an archive, because you can go back and watch it 20 years later and see if we're right or if we're wrong, or what we felt at the time was just a moment of that. That's what I felt.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because it's not about us anymore. It's about Naomi's kids.
You want your TV
How,
on?
what are they going to grow up in? And it scares me because I don't know, is there Social Security left? Is the special needs going to get the help they need? Are the Hispanics going to get the respect they deserve? Are we going to let prisoners vote again after the rehab because you want to hold people down to make sure that only 60% of white people get the vote in America? I mean, there's so many unanswered questions.
And it goes back to having it's the fear of the unknown. You know, this new generation is growing up in a world where we're getting so many different views left and right. We're getting political views, religious views, morals, ethics, and everything's getting thrown at us. And you know, we don't. Honestly, I could say I've fallen victim to that sometimes. Where, okay, well, what's right? Now we're questioning ourselves.
What's right? What's wrong?
What's right? What's wrong? Exactly. Do we do
wrong?
it this way?
Am
Do
I
we
wrong
do it
for saying
this way?
this?
You know, and we're being scared to voice something that we don't know if, like you said, it's right or wrong. But
We have to get that.
it
in
is a
control.
learning curve. It is a learning
We're in a
curve.
learning curve right now. We
Yeah.
have to learn not to be overreactive. Right now, we're overreactive. I've had to go back to stuff president has said, and I go, I'm not going to comment until I research it. He never said that. You made that up, and everyone believed it. And I'm not going to use his word because I don't like it. But I'm not defending him, but I'm saying he never said that. And if you're going to slander somebody, make sure it's truth. And the truth has to be said. And truth is not being said. You're making up lies about everybody. And so we need to get that under control.
When I would say about a year and a half, about 2 years ago, when I was working at Irvine High School, we had a law enforcement officer that worked there. And, you know, besides my grandfather and my mother and my dad and my grandparents as being mentors, I would say that this officer, his name is Officer Steve Romero, he had a big impact as to my career, as, you know, when it came to my career, as him telling me, you know, to open my eyes and, you know, start doing something with my degree, with my education and my passion. He was a police, a EPPD for 23 years. He retired and he started working with the school district, and you know, and this guy, you know, being in the field so long for almost 25 years, he's seen a lot. So this guy had a lot of knowledge, and I would consider him one of my mentors. And he used to tell me every single day, the biggest problem we have is when we overreact or when we underreact. That's the biggest problem. You know, you need to take it for what it is, write it out, sell it out, and do it. So it reminded me of that when you said it was that we're overreacting sometimes too much.
We make fake scares. Look with the gas. Oh, we're out of gas. We're not running out of gas. Can't find gas anywhere. So now you have to not drive, or you're like, there was no problem. You created the problem.
Exactly.
But I think it's because the president has done something to America, and they don't know how to react. It's like when you tell a baby, "Don't do that,"
And the first thing they do is do it.
and then they have to get there. They have to learn to walk, and I feel like we're learning how to walk, and some of us got ahead of the game, and some of us are crawling, and we're trying to figure out how to make them walk with us.
You know, our current president, it was a culture shock. It was, America experienced something that they never felt before. So it goes back to, they don't know. It's the fear of the unknown, and that's why there's so much backlash. That's why there's so much controversy and hate, and on the other side there's so much, you know, praising that, you know, finally we've gone through this, and finally we're going through this, and finally we have a leader, and it's just,
And it's so divided.
it is. No, you know what? I could honestly say that America is so divided right now, but it's a good thing. It's a good divide because it's gonna grow a stronger. A lot of people's eyes are gonna open up. A lot of people's eyes are gonna close, but it's rebuilding. And it goes back to what we said about this new generation and our society and how we're experiencing all these changes.
It's almost like we need to write a book. Learn
Yeah.
to walk again.
Yes. That actually, you know, if someone were to write a book on America, that would be a good title for it. Learn how to walk again.
You should copyright that. Trademark it right
that.
now. And just write it.
Copyright it right now on documentation. But and it's something that either it's gonna happen or it's not. And honestly, I have a good feeling that America's gonna.
I'm hearing good things. I don't judge you. I was like, I could call you an idiot. I just know that you're on the right track, and I want to help you get there. Matthew and I had a great discussion on doers and procrastinators, people that take things slowly. He goes, you just go for it. You just do it. You say, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna do it. And I'm not gonna hear no. Where I'm gonna get it done, but I'm gonna do it slower. I'm gonna think about it. And this generation doesn't plan. They're doers, but they don't know what they're doing. They just do something, and it's horrible, and it hurts us more than they become just as bad as the person in office. And you're like, what are you doing? I don't know. Well, he doesn't know either, so you're equally the same.
Yeah.
We gotta roll it back.
You have to understand first before you start, and that's very funny that you talk about that, because at work, we have a training. It's a whole week training. It's called motivational interviewing. You know, because I do work with juveniles, so the biggest thing that they try to steer you away from is being a problem solver. Okay, there's what we call problem solvers and problem understanders. And when I went in there, I was a problem solver. So going into that type of setting, seeing children, no, well, stop doing drugs, stop hanging out with this guy, stop staying out late, stop beating your mom, like start going to school. And I was saying all that stuff, but I wasn't understanding why.
You didn't get in their head.
Why? Well, why were they doing that? Why were they doing drugs? Why don't they want to be at home? Why weren't they going to school? So it's very calming that you understand that. And now I finally get it.
It's Matthew watches this. Thank you for saying this. It's the spiritual awakening.
Yes.
And we need it. We need to wake up. We need our spirits to form with peace of mind with our politics and our thoughts, without being angry, and be open when someone says something ridiculous to our mind, and put ourselves in their shoes to try to understand where they are and why they think that way.
Definitely.
And that's the only way we're going to heal. Like, why are they taking the knee? Maybe because only 30% of the vote counted last time. Maybe because they still get the worst breaks. Maybe because suburbs were built as a racist division and blacks were not given the loans. And it still continues today. Maybe that's why they're taking the knee. But why are you against the knee? Try to hear their point of view.
and a lot of that has to do with, it's because they don't want to get educated. That's the problem.
Because then you can't be mad anymore.
That's exactly. But that's the problem that a lot of Americans are going through, is that they're not educating themselves on both sides of the story. They're still very Old Testament, and it's my way or the highway. And I'm not gonna lie, I used to be that type of person. I used to be like,
all right, you're wrong.
Yeah, I'm right, you're wrong, and this is the way you do it, and that's it.
There's no opinion, nothing's subjective.
You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
when it comes to, like my line of work, when I work with these juveniles, and I'm trying to understand, well, why did you start drugs? And then they tell me their whole life story. They used to get beat as a kid. They used to see their mom get beat as a kid, so they turned to drugs. I'm like, oh wow, like, well, I would have never guessed. I thought you just did it because your friends were doing it. You know what I mean?
Sometimes the best is just to ask a question.
Yes, and it's so easy, but people don't do it because they don't want to hear it.
Have you ever worked with someone and they said, how do you do this? Do you remember the first step? That you push that button and then you push this lever. Yeah, and then what do you do next? Oh yeah, the screwdriver goes here, but you turn the power off first so you don't get electrocuted. And then you replace it, and then you turn the power grid back on. Right, you knew the whole time. That's cool, man. Instead of being frustrated, you taught them by not telling them. And we need to do that not with this electricity, but with minds and young kids.
Yeah. We need to nurture them to grow. And the whole point is not to, like you just said, not to get so frustrated so easy, because this gentleman or this kid or my friend or my cousin or my family member might not think the same way as me. They might not learn the same way as me. But as long as we do it together, hey, that's what matters. And I think that's what a lot of our society is lacking.
Yeah.
Is that they're lacking compromise, they're lacking understanding, they're lacking listening. And when we were talking about how we're so divided, because I think you hit the nail on the head when you said that we're
down the middle.
we're in a point in time where we're divided.
We could break out in war. But
Honestly, yeah, it is. It's getting to that point.
I believe there is a war, but it's not with guns.
It's with ourselves. It's with our minds. It's within
we
ourselves
can't-
and our minds.
One of the reason I'm archiving these projects is I saw there was a divide in this family. Everyone has got their clique, and no one. Half the people don't show up to Albert's. Half the people don't show up to this one. So Matthew and I took on and took over Christmas Eve night, and it's the gifts are bigger. They're better than ever. The games are bigger. We created reasons where we could communicate. We're taking family portraits that morning. Because we want everyone there. We want everyone to reunite.
Yeah. And
We stop the divide and you lead by example. So with you there, with your entire family and the Gahavas, maybe we shouldn't divide. Let's go back to the 80s when we were one. When we had barbecues together.
I know that when it comes to our family, I know we kind of started doing that, but you know, hearing you saying that, it's kind of saddening. You know, I didn't know it got to that point where it was that bad, and I'm glad. You know, thankful somebody did the initiative.
It's
you know
an
what I mean?
outside point of
It
view.
is, and
Because
it's
I ask, what's going on in El Paso? I hear divide. They didn't show up. They didn't do this. They don't visit grandma. They're not visiting grandma. They live down the street. They're not visiting grandma. Well, what's the matter with you? Uncle Ted, did you visit Uncle Ted? Well, no, I did not visit Uncle Ted. Why didn't you visit him? My life's busy. You know, and I felt a disturbance. So this will document. And I want everyone to be there. We need to be one. And we need to unite again. We were great once.
Oh, yeah.
A unit, and we're not a great unit anymore.
even just as like a little kid, you know, with
Remember the parties?
with Matthew and Pete and running around and Dodo's house and just stuff
Dodo.
like that, you know.
Rest in peace. I loved her so much.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I
Hot
just
sopa and cold beans.
now, like I said, Richard, I didn't know it was.
But when you think
it got
about
to this
it,
point. You know what I
Think
mean?
about
It's-
it. How far we got away from it.
I understand everybody's getting older, and I just understand that, you know, there's not really too much children in the family, like little kids anymore. You know, where, you know, a lot of the time they would come together for them, but it's weird, you know,
And-
to think about it. I didn't know it was like that. You know what I mean? I know that there was little problems here and there where maybe the Luceros didn't get invited here, or the Rijalvas didn't get invited here, or you know, whatever the case may be. But
They
damn, you
stick
know
to
what I
their
mean?
cliques, and they miss out.
Yeah.
And it's a huge problem, because what ends up happening. Albert said it right though. He said, "It's the adults that have to do it."
Yeah.
In the last 3 Christmases, I'm sorry to say, the kids were neglected. It was about adult talk. It was like Everyone Loves Raymond when he comes
Yeah.
out and he says, "Well, we have kids. Well, it's not really about the kids." So this year, I made it all about the kids.
And you know what? It's you know, I'm gonna make it to
One of those things.
the portrait, or you know, and Fina's breakfast, because unfortunately I do have graveyards, so I'm the rookie.
And we're gonna have great photos.
So I told my mom I want to at least make it to that, you know, to be in the family photo and everything. But you know, I won't be able to make it to the Christmas Eve party. And but I just want people to understand, like, I want to document it here that I didn't go because I didn't want to go.
No,
You know-
you want to be part of the family, but
Exactly.
it's up to we're the young generation. If we don't do it,
Who is?
we saw it's already dying. So can we get Ruli and Gloria and Jacob and Abigail? Can we get them on board? Can we change it? Because if they don't change, we can't do it. You know, and they force us to go into our own little pods.
And I wouldn't say it. It's because, you know, your mom, my mom, you know, they did it for so many years.
They continue it. We still meet on those nights.
You know
and
what I
we
mean?
still-
And even though that they still try to do it, I think like you said, it's our turn. And you know, I'm
Someone had to take the reins.
you know, and it's really cool. It's really nice and reassuring that you know you and Matthew, you know, I wish I could be part of that. You know, I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna use my job as an excuse, but
No, you gotta do
like,
what you gotta do.
you know what I mean. I've been torn.
But
left
you'll
and
be
right.
there the Saturday morning while we're doing
Yes, yes,
interviews
but
and
I will be
pictures.
there.
But see, you're joining in, and there's people that, if it wasn't for the portraits, they wouldn't even be there.
Yeah.
And that's, to me, those like a million red flags.
That like, why do we have to have some initiative or
We should
some
just be-
incentive to for you to come?
Why don't you just do?
Just do it, just to do it.
And that's what. So, if anything, since we're the younger generation, whoever's watching this, even if you're not part of our family, the lesson is, if you see this, take the incentive
Yeah.
and bring people together, and try to, if you feel you're so smart, try to see people as puppy level and lay on the floor with them and let them play with you and educate them as you come up peacefully, so they feel welcome and not over dominated.
Like it was really cool because I would say maybe a couple of weeks, a month ago, Eddie threw a barbecue at his house and he's like, I wanna get everybody together because we didn't do nothing for the summer. The whole summer went by and we never once got together. So yeah, we went over there and stuff like that, and you know, and you know, Eddie's very, you know, musically inclined and everything.
That's great to
and-
jam together.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And him and my grandfather jammed together, and you know, and he kind of started inviting me now that I've shown him that, you know, like I could play guitar and stuff with them. It's like this, and you know, I feel so bad because he's been asking me for so long, like let's plan a day, let's get together, me, you, and Grandpa will get together, this and that, and it's just like I keep putting it off, and not because I don't want to, it's just, you know, I got busy, we get busy, you know what I mean? But hearing this, like, it puts a knot in my chest, like
It was
like in my throat, and
It
I
was-
was like,
It was so important to me because I live 8 hours away. I got in a car and drove here for 8 hours to try to start a revolution, and I came early. I'm not working to come save save the foundation that we had in the 80s and early 90s that started dying off in the 2000s. And I was like, what's happening over there? I'm going to go there on the 21st. I'm going to get there early. I'm going to start a revolution. I'm going to take over. And I'm going to kick Christmas in the butt.
oh yeah,
And-
thank you know, I don't think the family could thank you enough for doing this, and it's an eye opener to the whole family, and I hope that, you know, when this gets released and everybody gets to finally see the final product, everybody kind of like looks at each other, looks left, looks right, and be like,
Because we all get our point of view.
well, what were we doing? You know what I mean?
Like, why did we fall apart? What
Why
happened
did we
to
fall
us?
apart? I honestly, I don't know why we
And
fell apart.
I give so much your mom, Stella, my mom, Belinda, Lucinda, Loretta,
Adrian. you know,
Adrian. They're actually trying to hold it together, but it's not enough. And as they age, it's up to us. Like, you need to take your girlfriend to Albert's. Why does she need to be there? Because she's family now. You're planning on marrying her in the future. She should be in the
And she
portrait.
will be there.
She needs to be in the portrait. We need to, no matter what you think would happen with Lisa, right? She's in love and she's happy, and I'm so happy for her. I want her portrait there. I want everybody there. Because I don't care if you worship blue rocks. You're family, damn it. And we need to get together again.
Man, that's
And
pretty.
I just don't care about drama anymore. Have your drama, but still be united. It's not impossible.
You know, and like even that day, like I don't even know how long Adrian's been married now, and I barely met her husband the day of Eddie's barbecue.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
it's embarrassing. Like, we should.
I felt
She
so
lives down the
bad.
street?
I know. She lives down the street for me, and it's just, you know, I'm guilty of it. I'm guilty of it of not showing up or doing something else instead.
We should have a
you know what I mean?
poker night or
I'm down
something.
for that, you know?
You should. This Christmas, I think one of the goals we should have when everyone's at Albert's house, is to have some kind of paper and go, poker night, game night, whatever. Once a month, just once a month. 2 hours, once a month. Let's make it happen.
Yeah.
If you plan on it, it will happen. A barbecue. Once a month. Where everyone just gathers and jams. Because Uncle Ted... I say Uncle Ted. Your grandpa, he's getting older.
Oh yeah.
And we're losing time fast here. It's fleeting. You blink.
You know, your grandma,
Yeah,
she's...
we're losing all this. So why aren't you visiting her?
Yeah.
And why aren't we're gonna let them die? And I refuse to let them die and have you the guilt. Damn it, if I'm not gonna try to not stop the guilt because you did something about it. Bring your kids and visit grandma. It's 5 minutes. Let her know that you love her and everything she sacrificed.
And I think a lot of us have lost sight of that. Is that we're so focused in our own lives, we forgot about where we came from. I think I mentioned that earlier. Is
Yeah.
that we're
It's a common thread we
know,
keep on going back to. We lost it.
we lost it.
If we could have you like make the family great again.
Yeah, exactly. You know, that would be because something to put. You know, make our family great again. But you know, it's something that you know. I hope that everybody that you've interviewed or that you're going to interview has that same view.
Yeah, that's the whole trend. Is
you know, I really feel that either some new revolution should come up at Eddie's. I mean, at Albert's house on Sunday. That everybody's like,
it's time
just
to put
put
a
it
spark.
away. You know what I mean? It's
We
just
gotta
like,
put the fire into the sparks. And I think the main tool here is going to the people we mentioned before, Stella, Linda, because they're still on our side. But we have to join that force. Because Uncle Ted, my grandmother, it's getting to the point where they can't just do it. We have to carry what they created.
yeah.
And we're not carrying what they created. We can't fall apart now.
See, like even in March, I drove down to San Antonio because I went and bought a truck over there in San Antonio, and we were there for about 3 days. And was like, you guys live in San Antonio, you know what I mean? I didn't, you know, it's just like something like, well, why didn't you call him up? I don't know if your sister told you, but out of the 3 nights that I was there, I went out one night. Me and my girlfriend, we went to some random bar, and who do I run into? Ran into Sarah. What are the odds?
Yeah, you just contact us anytime when you're there.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And it's
like if you're
it's
looking
like,
for someplace to chill while you're going somewhere, if I'm home, like I have an apartment on Vance Jackson.
Yeah.
I
But
shouldn't say that because it's a thing, but whatever. But still, it's chill.
But it's like, what are the odds? You know what I mean? Like, I don't even, you know, say what's up to my family. The first time I had ever been into San Antonio, well, at least that I don't know if I went when I was little, but the first time I had been to San Antonio, I was buying a truck, and I go out one night and I run into your sister. Like, what are the odds? You know what I mean? But it goes back to like, well, why didn't I just like hit you guys up on Facebook or say like, hey, you know what I mean? We're thinking about going out somewhere.
We know places like that could help you.
Exactly. You guys live there, but why we just got into a Uber and just went somewhere random? You know what I mean? But it's those
Because you can
things
say,
like
hey,
that.
let me drive you to Austin. I know this great place.
Yeah.
And Willie is trying. So I think we're in a point where we got our goal, and we need to thread it
Yeah.
and unite again. Because
And I know there's been problems. I've heard stories of between the families,
But they
between
just
this
gotta-
one. But
it's just beef, so we gotta get over it, and we
Come
gotta let
on,
politics
man.
not bother it. I don't care if you voted for Bernie Sanders or Hillary Clinton or Trump. I just want you to be in my life.
Yeah.
And
we've lost sight of that. A lot of us have lost sight of that.
the world
I
can be
could say I'm
divided,
guilty
but
of
we
one.
will not be divided. And we're just gonna make a rule. From this point on, we don't talk politics. We'll just be. Talk about Star Wars. Did you hate it or love it? I don't care. Just don't talk about
Yeah,
politics.
no. It's like I said, you know, and I didn't even know what you and Matthew were doing or what you were doing. I'm telling you, I woke up right now. Well, because I got off of work at 7, I fell asleep. I just woke up. I see all these lights in here. I'm like, what the heck? And I remember my mom saying that you were gonna come interview, my grandfather for something, but I didn't know. I'm barely finding out about this right now.
It's
And then it's like me. Why am I out of the loop? Why am I not in the family loop and understanding what you were doing?
I wanted to do a documentary on the family and where we are, the state of the family, and lessons. So 10 years from now, we can go back and learn. Because
it's amazing. That
in the
you're
next
doing
5
it.
years, we're gonna lose at least 20 family members.
So
and
what?
we need to unite. We're the next generation.
If you don't mind me asking, what finally made you start this, or what triggered you to?
I realized this was the end of the road, and if we don't do it this year, it's not gonna happen. The Galhavras are already falling apart from us, and people. Albert says, "I'm down for anything," but no one's incentivizing anything. The parties became stale, the same old, same old. No one's trying to involve the kids. And the kids are the future. If we don't teach Wyoming's children that we need to be a family as one, they're going to learn the divided. These kids are seeing how divided we are, and they just think it's natural. It's not natural. This Christmas, they need hugs from every family member, a high five. They need to know, hey, we're together as one forever. We do not divide. We don't clan up. We have one clan. It's a Perez, Lucero, Sarato. Whatever you put on it, we're all one. Let's do this. Let's start a revolution with these kids now.
Yeah.
And carry the name of Uncle Ted and Grandma and your grandmother and what they brought up and built. It's broken. And it's not too late to fix. But we have to do it now.
And I hope this brings everybody together.
Because I don't know what else I could possibly do. I'm built a studio.
I'm glad somebody's doing it. You know what I mean?
But,
I said, I'm not gonna sit here and preach like I'm the perfect family member either. You know what I mean? But
so I think I was talking about what do you want to tell people? So I'm gonna end it with this.
okay.
20, 30 years from now, whoever's watching this video, 2017 December. Let's say I don't know when they're watching. What do you want to tell the future family of what do you want to see in 30 years from this family, and what's not acceptable in your eyes?
I think something that I want to tell is that we lost a lot of our family values. We've lost a lot of our family traditions, our morals, the way we see each other as a family. Because right now at this point there is a lot of division between certain families, and I can't say it any better than you did, is that what happened to where we were, because I remember, as like I said, I remember as a kid being so close. So if there's one thing that I want to leave here, is that we need to get back to where we were, because who are we as people without our families?
Family's everything.
Family's everything. I heard my grandpa saying that, there's countless stories that we could go on and on and on and learn about where we came from, our heritage and tradition. I think that's important, because our grandparents, our great-grandparents, and our ancestors from 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago made me who I am today. So I want to make my cousins and my kids' kids
carry that name.
I want to make them who they're going to be 30 years from now.
And you want them to remember how they were made that way.
Exactly. Just like we remember how we were made that way, I think it's time to rebuild, so that we teach them how they're going to be.
Maybe we should make those shirts next Christmas.
Yeah, we should.
Make them family great again.
Make the family great again. I think that'd be pretty cool. So if I could leave with anything, I think it's, I hope that...
Or Generation Next, too. Because we got to get everyone involved.
I hope that everybody that interviews here gets everything off their chest and release what they have, and just get over it, because it like I said, I didn't know this project was going on. I didn't know half of the stuff that's going on with their family, or even they got that bad.
Yeah, I pay attention to what do they call it, the tea leaves, and I look, and pretty soon I'll be launching a YouTube channel with editorials about not only this, but if the earth was a family, how do we heal? So that's coming out soon. But this
think
is
it's
just
important that we
a
start
start.
with our family first, and like I said, thank you, and I think you said Matthew for doing this, and like I said, unfortunately, I won't be able to make it to the Christmas party, but I will be there at Albert's house, you know, for the morning to see my family
And
before I have to go to
a
work.
good way to end this is we have to fix it because I'm looking at these walls, and there's no current picture of the Garahavdas with Uncle Ted, and that is unacceptable.
Yeah.
We were united for such a long time. Where are the pictures of 2016, 2017 of us having barbecues together like we used to?
You know what? I think what maybe probably be cool is that we should probably rent like one of those like parks, like either like Memorial or something, and just all of us get together.
Because
That would be cool.
if we do something in summer, and I thought about this, it's a long drive, but I could fly here for an hour
Yeah.
and to get picked up at the airport. This summer, let's plan a family reunion here in, we'll pick a, maybe early August.
I would be totally
We'll
down
work.
for that.
Let's work with dates, and I can fly in, and we could have a family reunion where everybody's there, and we all buy meat and barbecue, and just have a good time. And I
Okay.
could fly back. I could fly back that night. It's just the idea that we're united again,
Yeah.
and we take a giant family portrait.
I'm so down for that. That'd be something, and I hope everybody has that same.
So I
Agrees with
suggest we propose that at Albert's
Yeah.
and make it happen. Because if we don't make it happen, it's not going to
Yeah.
happen.
I think that'd be pretty good. I agree with you, Richard.
And we got to get Matthew, and because Matthew is so great.
Yeah. And him too. You know, like we were so close, so young, and I don't know. I don't even know what he's doing now or his life.
We're out at 2:00 in the morning yesterday, we were having a good time. And I miss that, and
Oh yeah.
I have a big group of people, but 9 hours away, I miss my family.
Yeah.
And I was like, "What is Isaac doing? What's going on
Yeah.
with the family? I want to know." And so with that, I guess we'll end it with.
I'm glad. Well, you know, when I did, I'm glad you're able. Thank you for giving me and my family here that opportunity
And it's good therapy.
to share that. It was really good.
This
but-
has been great. You got to talk about your dad. We got to talk about history and who was special to you. You really got to think about life and God and what it means to you in a personal manner. And you got exposed to the weaknesses in this family, and now we have a plan of how to fix it.
Yeah. And
It's
I
very
hope it does.
therapeutic.
I hope it does. Yes, it was very good. So
We'll leave it
end
at
as
that. And to everyone that's watching, family first.
Family first. I love my family. I always have. We probably lost sight of that, but I don't want
And
anybody to ever forget.
if you're not in our family and you're a stranger watching this, the same thing with your family. Exact same thing. We're all blood. We're all Americans.
Definitely.
And do it to your family, and fix yourself and fix your family.
Yep, definitely.
All right.
All right,
God
man.
bless, peeps.